Alright, so you know about the Huawei Google controversy, and Huawei P40 Lite aka Nova 7i is basically a technical showpiece on how it is possible for Huawei to move forward without Google, since Google has become essential in our everyday life. So I purchased Nova 7i in Pakistan for around $250 and I have used a lot of mid-range smartphones lately that are in the same price bracket. And this phone is lacking some features that are becoming common in this price range, like in-display fingerprint scanner, AMOLED display, glass backing, and 90Hz display. These are the features that you should get at least two of them in this price range to compete the market. But if Huawei decided to skip all these key selling features, then it might sound like there's nothing really left for which you should give this phone a try. But still, I've used this phone as my main phone for 3 days, and it was very difficult for me to continue using this phone as my daily driver. You might have guessed the reason already, but I'll come to that in a minute. So this phone looks fine. It's got plastic back, which I think isn't justifiable at this price range. But if Samsung can put plastic on their $1,000 flagship phone, then at least it's not a big of a deal here. It's got 1080p LCD panel with a hole punch cutout at the top left, housing a 16 megapixel selfie shooter. It's not the brightest LCD panel out there, but still it's usable under direct sunlight. And the display size is 6.4 inches, which is a standard size these days. It's got Kirin 810 7nm chipset, which is one of the most efficient mid-range chipset. And with 8GB of RAM and Mali G52 GPU, it's delivering very good performance. I played some heavy games on this phone as well, and the overall experience was pretty snappy. Kirin 810 is also less power hungry chipset, and during my time with the phone, I was really impressed with its 4200 mAh battery. I charged it only once during my testing, so it's really hard to give you the exact numbers on how much screen on time it's gonna give, but if your usage is normal, it's gonna last over a day easily. And it also supports 40 watts fast charging via USB Type-C, and it can charge from 0 to 70% in just 35 minutes, which is incredible. So let's talk about this quad camera setup on the back. The main sensor is 48 megapixels with f1.8, then there's 8 megapixels ultra wide angle lens, then it's got 2 megapixels macro lens, and the fourth camera is basically a depth sensor. I'm really impressed with this main shooter, and this is where this phone does better than most of the mid-range phones out there. It can produce excellent images with high details and good dynamic range. And not only at daylight, but even in low light conditions, this phone nails the competition with Huawei's well-known Super Night mode, which takes 5 seconds to capture a photo, but results speaks for themselves. The wide angle and macro lenses are pretty much the same as we are seeing on new smartphones these days. They are usable, but you cannot call them great. The 16 megapixels front shooter is also good and can take some nice selfies. It can record 1080p videos at 30 fps with no stabilization at all, which is sad because its main sensor is very capable and does well in photography. Now there are a couple of areas where I think this phone does great. Like if you're into photography and running on budget, this phone has very capable main shooter. And if you're a heavy smartphone user or gamer, this is one of the fastest mid-range phone out there. But still, it's hard to recommend this phone to anyone. No matter if you're only a photographer or gamer and you don't care about the Google Play services and all, but it has affected my overall usage. I was unable to run Careem or Uber. OLX doesn't work here, so in short, many apps that are linked with Google will not work on this phone. And sharing your location, restoring WhatsApp backup, photos, and contacts requires some extra effort, which is a pain. And I know there are ways to install Google Play services on this phone, but installing them is a complicated process which not everyone can do. And also, its price tag is not justifying the overall package it's offering. So it's better to skip this phone and look for other options. That's it in this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe.